Hello, hello, and welcome to my Saturday Night Live. How is everyone doing out there? Hope you guys are doing wonderful. I wanted to thank everyone for being here. I did put a notice that I was going to be. Oops, hold on one second. My phone is just acting on its own here. There we go. I forgot to turn off the volume. I'm actually going to be reading off the questions, but I do want to go over who these gods were in ancient Mesopotamia as they became the backbone in the battle for the earth, right? Based on the struggle that we are now seeing unfold between, of course, the white hats and the dark hats. But I noticed that I don't have enough lighting here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up my door to give me more lighting. If you guys could just bear with me. I want to welcome everyone at this time. One second. Much better, right? All right. There we go. Awesome. How's everyone doing? Did you guys get a chance to watch my second Rumble Uncensored Live? I was going over the crisis regarding the borders and how, it might escalate into some civil war. Things are not looking good. But as you guys know, the cabal through the Brandon administration is trying so hard to sponsor and finance and bring in all these terrorists into our country to create havoc and destruction to pretty much ruin America. But it's not going to happen because the white hats are on it as I speak right now. So things are actually escalating as I speak. I just wanted to, Gene Mayfield, thank you so much for the super chat. Your question is, do you know who the cosmic father is? Ruby Temple, sir. Is Ruby Temple is? I can find no info on this entity. I've never heard of Ruby Temple. I've never heard of Ruby Temple, so I don't know. I always thought that the cosmic father was prime creator source. But hold on one second. Let me adjust my. Oh, there we go. I want to be in the center of my camera, right there. Perfect. There we go. I'm at the center now. So yeah, I don't know who he is. A little bit about myself. For those that are new to my channel, I know that I'm getting about 200 to 300 subscribers a day. My name is Ismael Perez. I'm the author of Our Cosmic Origin, a book that restores galactic history, so our celestial origin, the cosmic structure, revealing the different universes. So I'm also a starseed activator. And pretty soon, guys, I'm going to be doing my own classes. I'm going to be going deep, all right, beyond the mystic arts. And by the way, guys, I did leave the mystic arts. I am no longer with the mystic arts. So I'm going to be doing my own thing now, pretty soon. My website is almost ready. So I did receive some comments and some DMs that some of you guys want to take some courses with me. So when my classes are ready, I'm going to go ahead and announce them, and you guys could take my class and learn about the cosmic and history of the entire universe or of the entire planet and much more. Of course, we go over ascension, we go over 12-strand DNA activation, we go over the different dimensions. It goes really deep. For those that have taken my Starseed Cosmology course in the past, it is a 6-hour class, so I do about 2 hours a week, once a week. And so pretty soon I'm going to be able to, I actually modified it. I completely restructured it and I added more information. So even if you've taken my Starseed Cosmology class before, this time is going to be a little bit more deeper, since I did add more information. So I want to welcome everyone who is in the house. The topic of today is the Battle of the Gods. So we're going to go over in detail as to who Enlil Zeus is and Enki Poseidon. Now, bear in mind that some of the research, some of the articles that I'm going to share with you guys have been taken from the modified versions of the ancient Sumerian tablets. So as I read these articles, please have discernment. And of course, you guys do know my take when it comes to these two brothers, right? My belief is that those records were inverted to make Enlil Zeus look like the bad guy, and of course Enki Poseidon look like the good guy, when in essence, when you read the other accounts based on Plato's works and other translations coming from the Greeks, like the Hesiod, then the story starts to sound a little different. All of a sudden, Zeus is the administrator of justice, the guardian of the human race, the king of the gods. Well, in this case, we know now that they aren't gods, that they are just extraterrestrials from planet Nibiru. So I want to make that distinction before I go into what history has said about these two mythological characters that have basically been at the core of the battle between good and evil that is now coming to an end in favor of the Earth Alliance Whiteheads, of course. So a little bit more about myself. This is something that I've never shared with you guys, okay? As a kid, not only did I have a big imagination, but due to my various incarnations, due to the fact that I am a warrior, I am a natural sword fighter. I love wrestling. I love combat. I used to watch Mortal Kombat. I grew up on shows like Dragon Ball Z, right? Martial arts. I watched Bruce Lee. I love Bruce Lee. But another thing that I wanted to share with you guys that nobody knows about me is that I used to be a huge wrestling fanatic when I was a teenager. My favorite wrestler was Hulk Hogan because he was the All-American wrestler before he sold out to the NWO and became a villain, of course. But, during his first years, I used to watch wrestling, and Hulk Hogan was my favorite. Among other wrestlers, of course, the British Bulldog, and upcoming wrestlers. I don't have time to watch wrestling anymore, but growing up as a teenager, guys, I used to watch a lot of wrestling when I was a kid because I used to love the combat between two big, muscular men going at it to see who would be the toughest. And every now and then, even up to date, every now and then, like maybe once every few months, I'll go on my phone and I'll go on YouTube to just watch a match and see who these new wrestlers are. And so, but nowadays they have all these new wrestlers, right? All the old wrestlers are gone. Now they have Roman Reigns, they have Brock Lesnar, the new giant, right? The new giant is what's his name? I forget his name, but anyways, they have this new guy. Supposedly he's replacing Andre the Giant. He goes, oh, the Big Show. They call him the Big Show. So anyways, that's just something that I do once in a great while when I have spare time because I as a kid, I used to like watching wrestling. So I just wanted to share that with you guys about myself. So yes, even though I am a cosmic ambassador, there is a human aspect of myself that enjoyed, watching Bruce Lee growing up, watching, wrestling and stuff like that. So anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and take another super chat before I get into the articles. And by the way, guys, I'm giving you guys 3 hours today. This is going to be my first 3-hour live, and I feel like it's necessary because a lot of the times I don't think I get to everyone's questions. So I'm going to do my best to answer everyone's questions today. No one is going to be left unnoticed. I'm going to start from the top, scroll down the chat, and make sure that I answer everyone's questions. So that is my intention for today, to give you guys my undivided attention, my Galactic Jedi, Soul Tribe, Galactic Starseed family. I love you guys. So I'm going to go ahead and take this super chat from Clementine. Actually, I better take it on my phone just because I don't have my glasses today. I don't know where those things went. All right, so Clementine has a question. Her question is, hi, Ishmael, were the Anunnaki guardians or invaders of developing humanity? If guardians, who put them in charge? Well, they were the watchers. In biblical terms, they were the watchers. When you start thinking in terms of extraterrestrials and the idea that we're not alone in the universe, bear in mind that the Anunnaki, the original Anunnaki, were from Sirius. They were made in Sirius. You could say they were part of an ancient alliance to create a warrior race to protect the galaxy from the expanding Draco Orion Empire. Of course, there were many attempts by the Draco-Orion Empire to infiltrate the bloodline that gave us Anu, of course. I've come to discover that the original Anuhasi race, which was the term used before they adopted the word Anunnaki, meant the guardians of the universe. Okay, so it was also, again, it was a mixture between the original 12 tribes, or the original 12 houses of Lyra, the feline races, of course, the blue Azurites, and there was another race, and the cosmic rishis, of course. The cosmic rishi had contributed their DNA from the fifth harmonic universe in order to create a race that was going to be functional on multiple dimensions and capable of manifesting supernatural abilities. But throughout their lineage, throughout their history, there were many attempts by the Luciferian reptilian draconians to infiltrate the original Anuhasi guardian race. And they did several times. And even before Enki was the final infiltration, which I will talk about today. But even before Enki infiltrated it, there were other attempts. There was this character by the name of Alalu. Alalu actually took over the affairs of the Nibirian Council. Oh, there you go. The Anunnaki are the Nibirians, okay? They were the Nibirians in charge of the Battlestar planet Nibiru. So they were in charge of monitoring all the different free star systems that were trying to remain liberated from the expanding Orion Empire. But throughout their history, the latest besides Enki was Alalu. Alalu was also the grand infiltrator of the Mars colony. You guys are aware that there was a beautiful civilization on Mars a couple million years ago. All the evidence is there. It was destroyed because of the Alalu, because Alalu infiltrated the Nibirian Council and became king for a while, until, of course, Anu, decided to defeat him in a wrestling match, castrated him, right, in order for him to not continue his bloodline. And that's one of the things that the Anunnaki commanders would do when they would fight for the title of the 50, which is the supreme ruler of the Nibirian Council. They would actually fight, and the winner would get to castrate the loser in order for the loser to not propagate their seed anymore. So Alalu was in charge of the Mars colony, and that is the reason why the Martian colony was actually invaded inwardly through a portal from Orion. All right, when the reptilians through the Mars colony, because of Alalu, were able to open up a portal and create a military stronghold here in our solar system on planet Maldek. So that was when the galactic wars reached our solar system, our neck of the woods. And then, of course, back then, the Earth was known as Tiamat, which was 3 to 4 times the size that it is today. So after Anu disposed Alalu, when the Nibirians blew up the planet Maldek, for those that have read my book, the planet Maldek was full of explosives, and due to the radiation that hit the atmosphere of Nibiru, it caused a leak in the atmosphere. And so at that point, when the reptilians, there was only a few reptilians that survived the Maldekian explosion, right? Because they were able to use their technology to teleport to their motherships. And when Anu seized control of our solar system, once again, right, in favor of the Guardians, the queen of the Draco, known as Draman, was trying to seduce him. And she did, she ended up having intercourse with Anu, and that's what gave us Enki. So that whole idea of her seducing Anu in order to bear a child was part of the infiltration and the corruption of the original Anuhasi lineage that stemmed all the way back from Sirius B. All right, so the Anunnaki were actually the Watchers. They were the guardians. Not only were they guardians of the Earth, but they were also guardians of the system that we belong to. So our Earth is part of a system of about 600 to 1,000 worlds. That system is known as the Pleiades. In terms of the Urantia papers, they call it the system of Satania. There is about 100,000 systems that make up a constellation. So the Nibirians were actually in charge of our system. They were, patrolling our system every 3,600 years, right? Nibiru comes into our solar system. And when it's not in our solar system for 3,600 years, it's actually orbiting. It's got an elliptical orbit that goes across all the way back to Sirius B in order to patrol other solar systems that are not part of the Orion Empire. So that is a very good question. So there is a intimate connection, guys, between the Anunnaki, right, the Elohim, because the Anunnaki are the descendants of the original Elohim. Remember, the Elohim, all right, the 12 archetypes, each one in charge of their own creation, left their children in charge, right? In charge of their own galaxy. So at the center of every galaxy, we have the station. That's where the guardians are stationed. So in our galaxy, it's known as Sirius B, because Sirius B is very close to the galactic center, where the original etheric guardians came from, that gave us the original Anunnaki race before it was corrupted by the reptilians. So the Anunnaki were the descendants of the original Elohim. So they're intimately connected, right? We can't say that the Anunnaki, the gods of mythology, and the Elohim are all separate things. They're all part of one descending cosmic family, right? That started off from the higher dimensions and have been descending into the lower dimensions. So they're all somehow interwoven. All right. So the Anunnaki is the last embodiment, right? The Nibirians, or the last descendants of the original Elohim, of the 12 ruling archetypes that oversee the 12 creations. So I pulled up some articles regarding what history has to say, right? According to the ancient Sumerian tablets, and also according to the Greek translations. Not only was I able to research information on Poseidon, Enki, and Enlil, Zeus, based on the translations of the Sumerian tablets, but I was also able to gather some information based on the Greek translations as well. So I'm going to go ahead and share some of this stuff, and I want you guys to use your own discernment pretty much to decipher for yourself what resonates and what doesn't resonate. But for those that know me, you guys know where my stand is here, right? So my belief is that Enlil Zeus, right, who is the chief guardian of the earth in ancient times, was in charge of justice here on this planet. And his children, Hercules, Theseus, and all the other, Perseus, they were the heroes of old. So they were known as the heroes, the meta-humans of old, right? A lot of this information was adopted by DC Comics. DC Comics and Marvel Comics, right? The writers of Marvel Comics and DC Comics understood all this information. So when we watch movies like Aquaman, that is based on Atlantis, right? We have the Atlantean king, the Trident, right? Those were the children of Poseidon, right? And then when we watch movies like Wonder Woman, well, who was Wonder Woman? She was the daughter of Zeus, right? The daughter of Zeus. So, and she was, I guess, a modern day hero, the Amazonians, right? So all the children of Zeus were actually the heroes of old. Those were the ones that were fighting all these hybrid monsters, all these experimentations that were created by Enki, the great trickster, the abomination of desolation, right? So that explains why the flood needed to happen. And I mentioned this before, and I'll mention it again. But with that in mind, I would love to read some articles. How's everyone doing out there? I do want to give you guys a shout out here. I want to see who is in the house. We have 469 watching. And I do know that Eon Lumen is in the house. Joseph Martin is in the house. Joanna is in the house. Dale Ellis is in the house. Who else is in the house? Digital Revolution. Carrie Bonificio. Mary Jane G. Thank you for being here. Project Skyfalls. Emanuela Operman. Tino Petronzio is in the house. Sunil, of course, is in the house. Tim Potter. Sharon Rose. Nick the Greek. Teresa McIntyre, Sylvia Vidal, MJF, Kathy K. Berg, Margarita Doricher. The list goes on. It's 543. Wow, within the last few seconds, another 100 people have jumped on. Thank you guys so much for being here. Cosmic Goddess, Wolfman is in the house. Mark Berlin is in the house. Radiant Guardians, Adrian Aurora, Amanda, is it Tempori? Tempori's in the house. Hi, she says hi, Ishmael. Hi, Amanda. Jeep Mom is in the house. Gemini Moon, Mutable Sage, Project Skyfalls is in the house. Tony Lopez, my brother. Shout out to Tony Lopez is in the house. Andrea, is it Kraber in the house? Who else? Who else? Lenny Lovett, Rob, Eon Lumen, MJF, Star Teresa McIntyre, Joanna, Gemini Moon, even my brother John, who goes by Joseph Hypthos. John, hi John, how you doing, brother? Cosmic Goddess, I've already mentioned her. Kim Thompson. Who else? Who else? I want to reach out to people I haven't mentioned. Let's see. Let's see. Sandra, Digital Revolution. Let's see. Who else? Who else? Don Burgess. Don Burgess is in the house. Monique Roy, Joanna, Margaret, Luca Sinla. I want to welcome all 557 people that are in the house. How's everyone doing out there? Happy Saturday, by the way. If you're wondering what I'm having a protein drink with acai, blueberries, strawberries, almond milk, and honey, and of course, protein powder. All right, let's get to some ancient documents that talk about in detail and actually compare the similarities between Zeus and Enlil, all right, and Enki and Poseidon, who are one and the same, guys. They're all one and the same. In fact, all of the gods from every mythological story coming from every ancient account, whether it's Sumerian, Akkadian, Babylonian, Egyptian, Mayan, Chinese, ancient India, it's all the same Anunnaki Nibirians under a different name. All right, they're all the same. They're all the same under a different name. And we do know that there were two factions, right? According to the ancient Rig Vedas, there were aerial wars for the control of planet Earth between the negative Anunnaki, which of course we call the Enkiites, right? Poseidon's people, and the positive Anunnaki, all right? The positive Anunnaki wanted to maintain the original human divine experiment, the angelic human. The negative Anunnaki said, no, let's downgrade them. Let's mix them with Homo erectus so that we could create a slave race. And that gave us the dawn of slavery, guys. You could thank Enki Poseidon for that, all right? Slavery didn't exist on this planet until Enki Poseidon decided to tamper with the original divine blueprint, the angelic humans, the Oraphim, and of course, by admixing them with the Homo erectus, completely just downgraded their intelligence so that they could take orders. And that's why they created religion eventually, right? The negative Anunnaki wanted to continue the worship under the guise of religion. And they created all the temples and all those downgraded angelic humans that were unfortunately mixed with Homo erectus, Neanderthal genetics, became their servants, became their slaves. But we are now ending that era because we are no longer under the control of the fallen Anunnaki, the fallen Elohim. Again, they're all interwoven. The gods of mythology are the angels in the Bible, right? Or the demons in terms of the reptilians. And they are also the positive extraterrestrials of today and the negative extraterrestrials. We have both. We have positive and negatives. So let's check out some of these articles. All right. So the first article I want to read about is about Poseidon, according to the Greek translation. And I want you guys to also pay attention, because as I read about Poseidon, and then as I also go over the description of Enki, see the similarities. I want you guys to see how they're both one and the same, okay, according to different accounts. So Poseidon, the almighty Greek god of the sea, rivers, storms, and earthquakes, bulls and horses. Poseidon occupies a large amount of ancient Greek mythology, literature, and theology, as well as multiple appearances in modern pop culture. By Demosthenes, he had an unpredictable temperament that reflected his domain and could be tranquil or fatally tempestuous. So we do know that he had a temperament, right? And he was, full of anger half the time, always causing tsunamis and earthquakes, right? This doesn't sound like a good character or like a good god, if he's constantly, mad at human beings and causing tsunamis and earthquakes, right? This is Poseidon, also known as Enki. So Poseidon is associated with many evil, all right? This is according to the Greek translation, not the Sumerians. See, the difference between the Greek translation and the Sumerian translation is that the Greeks didn't tamper with the original records. They told the story as it is. Whereas the Sumerians, who were also associated with the Akkadians and the Babylonians, and who was the god of Babylon, Marduk, they completely changed everything around. So Poseidon is associated with many evil and abusive giants and dragons. All right? Look at that. All right? Let me read that again. Poseidon is associated with many evil and abusive giants and dragons. Okay. So his powers were related. His natural powers were related to the animal allegories. So we do know that he had a thing with animals, of course, but not like in a sense where he loved the animals. He was a master geneticist. He would create, the Minotaur, remember, half man, half bull, right? All these different experiments. We could say that he's the guy who was in charge of all the cloning and all the hybrid programs that even up to today, the secret space program is still conducting in the shadows, of course. But let me continue 1 second here. I'm going to actually give myself more light. If you guys could bear with me. I notice that I'm losing light. Let there be light, and there was light. Maybe not yet. 1 second, guys. Trying to give myself some light here, and it's not working. What's going on here? If you guys could bear with me, I don't understand why my light isn't working today. Normally it does work. Let me try to plug it in again. What's going on with you, light? Work. Oh, there we go. No, it's not working. It's like it does and then it doesn't. What's going on here? Come on. Hold on, guys. Bear with me here. We have 3 hours. Well, 2 and 40 minutes left, but still, we're going to be here for a while. So if you guys just bear with me. Hmm. Come on, let there be light. Let there be light. All right, I'm going to try for just a couple more seconds, and if it doesn't work, I'm just going to have to do without light today. Hold on 1 second. Let me try a different box. 1 second. I got a new thing here. Hopefully this works. Oops, wrong thing. I guess my light isn't working anymore. All right, guys, I'm going to have to do with no light. Unfortunately, my light isn't plugging. I mean, it's plugging in, but it's not turning on. So this is not good. I feel like as it gets darker here, I'm going to keep getting more shadier. All right, I guess no light. All right, let me just continue with the article. All right, so Poseidon is associated with many evils and subversive giants, abusive giants, and dragons. All right, so this is according to the Greek translation, the non-tampered record. This affinity with various mythological monsters. I do have a super chat. I guess I'll take that really quick. This is from Thank you, guys. I appreciate the love, by the way. So this is from Michael Butler. Thank you so much for the super chat. Thank you for your dedication to informing us. We appreciate your information, and of course, with getting a not so great feeling about Jason Shirka, it seems that he has done a lot of good work. Keep getting a bad feeling. All right, brother. Well, thank you for sharing that. Thank you so much for your support, by the way. I appreciate you. And thank you so much for being here. All right. So, as I was saying, so Poseidon is associated with many evil and abusive giants and dragons. This affinity with various mythological monsters likely preceded Ionians' association of the god with the sea. The origin of the god named Poseidon are not yet uncleared, although the most prominent theory breaks it down into two parts. The first of which means husband or lord, Greek, and the second of which means earth. In other words, the meaning of this would be something along the lines of lord or spouse of the earth. Some of the many epithets that accompany his name in Homer and also in the Mycenaean Linear B tablets. So these are tablets that do not come from the, the home, what is it called? The Atris tablets, the epic Gilgamesh, the story of creation, the Enuma Elish, because those were tablets that were tampered with by the priesthood of Belial. So these are the untampered tablets. So according to the untampered tablets, Poseidon Enki seems to be an evil figure, right? These epithets have older use as identified in linear B religious scripts, such as in with the root da. It says Encdion da. Okay, perhaps that's another term or acronym for Enki. Other epithets and relate him with earthquakes. Okay, so according to these Greek epithets, they always associate Poseidon with earthquakes. All right, and tsunamis, temperament. He's always mad and angry against humans, so he, kills them when he wants to. A harmonious temple is located in Tanneron. According to these facts, it seems that initially, during the late Bronze Age, Hellenic civilizations, the Greek god Poseidon was mainly a chronological or clithonic, I can't even pronounce that word, clithonic deity. I don't even know what that word clithonic means, but it doesn't seem like it's a good term. Clithonic deity, and was mostly related to the earth as a fertility god or as a ruler or husband in the depths of the deified earth. 1 second. There we go. Just fixing my camera here. Herodotus' testimony conveys that he is the one who locks the Titans in the dark of Tartarus. This is also suggested of his connection with the underworld. Interesting. All right, because later translations, we know that the underworld is associated with what? With hell. It was Poseidon who was also invoked by the Spartans every time they felt the earth shaking under their feet. As Xenophon describes the Lacedaemonian invasion of the land of the Argians in 390 BC. Summary: Poseidon was a powerful Greek god known as the ruler of the sea, rivers and storms, earthquakes and bulls and horses. In ancient Greek stories and modern pop culture, Poseidon played a significant role. His temperament was unpredictable, reflecting his control over the sea and nature. He could be calm or angry and set a storm, much like the sea itself. Poseidon had connections with various mythical monsters. Notice that they use the word monsters. All right? Doesn't sound like it's associated with with the good guys, right? Monsters. Monsters, when I think of the term monsters, I think of evil creatures. I think of carnivores. I think of giants. I think of horrific looking entities that are just hideous, right? When I think of the word monsters, likely lived in the sea. The origin of Poseidon's name is not entirely clear. One theory suggests it means Lord of the Earth or Spouse of the Earth. Some descriptive words associated with Poseidon, like Earth Shaker, tell him more to the earth and the seas, whatever that means. Other epithets connect him with earthquakes, emphasizing his dual role as the causer of and protector against earthquakes. Poseidon's role evolved over time. In the late Bronze Age, he was considered I don't know what this word means, a synthonic deity. I got to look that word up, synthonic deity. Let's see what synthonic deity is. Synthonic deity. Okay, so pretty much a synthonic deity, according to Wikipedia, it means a deity that is associated with the underworld, like Hades and Persephone or Hades and Poseidon. Okay, so basically, he is a deity that is associated with the underworld. Interesting. Okay, so let's continue here. So Poseidon's role evolved over time in the late Bronze Age. He was considered a synthonic deity associated with the earth steppes as a fertility god. According to Herodotus, Poseidon was also linked to the underworld. Okay, Spartans invoked Poseidon when they felt earthquakes, emphasizing his connection to both the earth steppes and natural disasters. Okay, so that's according to the Greek translations. All right, so now let's read about the Enki figure and see the correlations here. 1 second, let me close my door. All right. How is everyone doing out there? Thank you for being here on your Saturday night evening. All right. So, according to the translation of the ancient Sumerian tablets, Enki, an ancient god in his legacy of wisdom and divine creation. Enki, a supreme god in Mesopotamian mythology, was worshipped as the god of water. First indicator. Okay. Poseidon was the god of the sea, right? Also, Enki is the god of water. They're one and the same, different names. I do have 2 super chats, so I'm going to go ahead and take a pause so that I could address your super chats. This is from Leon of God, Lion of God. And your question is, you mentioned Enlil Sue's daughter being equivalent to Wonder Woman. Who would she had been incarnated as on Earth? Who would she have been incarnated as on Earth? I don't know. I don't really know what your question is entailing, but this is according to the DC Comics. If you watch the movie Wonder Woman, it is revealed that Zeus impregnated her mother to give birth to Wonder Woman, who became a metahuman, right? Wonder Woman had amazing supernatural powers, was very strong, like Superman, and could, fly and do all kinds of things. Well, it's because she was the daughter of Zeus. But this is according to DC. Go watch the movie Wonder Woman, and while you're at it, watch the Justice League. Those are very good movies. So I don't, as far as like who's Wonder Woman, like in real time, I would say all the female star seeds are Wonder Woman. All right, so let's see. This is another question from Michael Butler. Thank you so much for the super chat. Thank you for your dedication to informing us. Oh, I've already read that. Okay, so let me continue with the articles. Okay, so we do know that according to the ancient Sumerian tablets, according to this article, that Enki was worshipped as the god of water and lord of the earth, right? We just read, according to the Greeks, that Poseidon was the god of water and the lord of the earth. Can't believe I have no light here. What if I move? Let me see, 1 second. Because the light is facing this way. So what if I... Let me try plugging in my light one last time. All right. 1 second, guys, because I feel like as it gets darker out there, I'm going to keep getting darker myself. This is so weird. It's not even working, I guess. Yeah, it's not going to work. I tried it again. So I'm going to have to go buy another light for next time. So just bear with me, guys. Bear with me. I know it's dark. I don't have enough lighting, but it's okay. What can I do? That is done with. All right, so he is also one of the members of the triad of deities, together, excuse me, with Anu and Enlil. Sorry, guess that protein drink went in the wrong way. You should acknowledge the other power of Enki, as he was adored as the creator of one of who made men helpers and slaves of the gods. Ooh, booyah! Right here, guys. Check it out. What did I just read? Okay. You should acknowledge the other power of Enki, as he was adored as the creator or the one who made men helpers and slaves of the gods. Enki, according to this translation, is reported to have made men as slaves to the gods. There you go. Right? Case in point. For all of those people that are saying, oh, Enki was the good guy. Negative. He was the one who created the slave race. All right? It's all in here. God, I love this. I love these untampered records, guys. Okay. Having been regarded as a creator, Enki is represented by semen and amniotic fluid, which solidifies his image of fertility. Who is Enki? Enki, or Ea, was an omnipotent god who oversees all men as the creator of the universe. I don't think there is nothing regarding him as the creator of the universe. We all know he wasn't the creator of the universe. Okay, so of course he wanted to make us believe that he was the creator of the universe, but he wasn't. With his prominence, people from all walks of life would come to him for favors and prayers. That's another indicator, right? People began to worship the gods because of Enki. Zeus never wanted to be worshipped, by the way. He was just the guardian of humans. He was the guardian of the earth. He was the guardian of our sector 9. Remember, the galaxy is divided into 9 sectors. Okay, so born to Anu and Ki. Ki is short for Dramin, by the way, who is the queen of the Draco. Enki is the lord of the earth and is also in charge of the seas, similar to Poseidon in Greek mythology. Did you guys hear that? Enki is lord of the earth and is also in charge of the seas, similar to Poseidon in Greek mythology. There's another, correlation. His wife was Damkina, which we know is another reptilian. Damkina, who was bore him several children, including Marduk. And of course, we know Marduk is Baal, Satan, the god of Babylon. Okay, the leader of the cabal forces, right? He also had another child by the name of Asarluki and Bilulu, Nanse, and Adapa. Adapa, that's another interesting name. His name Enki is translated into 2 parts. An means Lord, and Ki refers to the earth. So Enki, An means Lord, Ki refers to the earth. So he wanted to proclaim himself as the Lord of the earth. Okay? But means Lord, where am I? Simply put, his name means the Lord of the earth. Okay, I just said that. His other name, Ea, for short, E-A, right, is possibly translated as life and spring, such that Enki denotes the spring of life or the house of water. The myriad of the roles of Enki had several manifestations, such as the esteemed god of creation, incantations, arts, crafts, cleaners, and purification. He possesses many skills to assist people, but the most important of all of his powers is to bring forth life. Meanwhile, the Akkadian counterpart, Ea, is the god of ritual purification. Hence, the water he uses for cleansing is baptized as Ea's water. Interestingly, Ea, who is Enki, is also the god of magic, sorcery, crafts, and witchcraft. Let me read that again. Ea, Enki, is also the god of magic, sorcery, crafts, and witchcraft. Oh my God. There you guys go, right? At the highest level of the cabal, we have a group of necromancers, sorcerers, black magicians. Aleister Crowley was one of them, right? All right, so let me continue. Well, where do you guys think they learned all this black sorcery magic from? From their, king god, Enki Poseidon. All right, let me continue. This is all the evidence. See, I really want Billy Carson to get a hold of these, these records. All right, he's only going according to the ancient Sumerian tablets, but he's not reading outside of the ancient Sumerian tablets. Billy Carson, you're amazing, brother, but you have to also do other research, other accounts, read other accounts, not just one account. right? Coming from Babylon, Acadia, Samaria. All right, so as I am going to continue here, let's see. So we know he's the god of magic, sorcery, and witchcraft, okay? Known for his wisdom, Enki has been recognized for his wise counsel to kings. Well, in this case, we know that he's referring to the Babylonian kings, right? Okay. You won't be surprised to see him as a mediator between man and the gods. In Babylonian, he is the father of Marduk, the one who replaced Enlil when he was sent to the underworld. What? All right, let me read that again. In Babylonian, Enki was the father of Marduk, right? Marduk, who became in charge of the Dark Brotherhood. The one who replaced Enlil when he was sent to the underworld. All right. Well, that's another indicator that after the age of the bull, which was ruled by Enlil, Jehovah Zeus, then we have the age of the ram or Aries, which ushered in the age of Marduk, right? And that's when, of course, we went into the Dark Ages, guys, 5,000 years ago. That's when Marduk took power. But his time is up. Let me continue here. Okay, so as a sorcerer, Enki, as a sorcerer, the Sumerian god Enki is the favorite of those who master magic and exorcism to connect and discard evil as he illuminates the pinnacle of sorcery. That doesn't make any sense. He liked showing his skills in incantations to everyone, and so as to make people amazed and eventually lead them to offer prayers to him. Okay, that's another indicator that Enki wanted to be worshipped, right? The reason humans have always had this yearning to worship is because I believe it was a gene that was installed by Enki in humanity. And that explains why a lot of people on this planet, right, those that are unawakened, like going to church to worship a god that is outside of themselves or something external, right? Because of what Enki did. All right, so let me continue. The appearance of Enki was originally designated as the patron of Eridu because the people liked him. He was also worshipped by the Mesopotamians, including the Canaanites, Hittites, and Hurrites. All right, well, let's pause there for a second. Who were the Canaanites in ancient times? Who were the Hittites and the Hurrites? Those were the people or the tribes that were outside of that came from Babylon, in other words, which means that they probably carried a high concentration of reptilian genetics, which were his people, by the way. Makes a lot of sense. Because the people liked him, he was also worshipped. Okay, so let me continue. While other gods had more localized cults, Enki's power was honored everywhere. Whoa, that's another indicator that Enki wanted to take over the entire planet, right? He wanted to rule the entire world. And if you guys read Plato's book called the Critias, it is a consolidated explanation that talks about how the reason why Atlantis fell was because Enki, who was the ruler of Atlantis under the name Poseidon, wanted to take over the affairs of the entire planet. And who stopped them? Zeus. Zeus is the one who stopped them. There we go. All right, so in summary, Enki is an ancient god in Mesopotamia, mythology, who was a supreme god known as the Lord of the Earth and the god of the water, similar to Poseidon in Greek mythology. He had various roles, including being a creator and overseer of man. Enki was highly regarded for his wisdom and his guidance he provided to the kings. But of course, in this case, I believe there were the kings of Babylon and Acadia, which were his lands that he controlled. Born to Anu and Ki, right, Dramin, Enki's name means the Lord of the Earth. His other name, Ea, possibly translates to life or spring, signifying the spring of life or the house of water. Enki had many roles, such as the god of creation, incantation, arts, crafts, cleaners, and purification. His Akkadian counterpart, Ea, was the god of ritual purification, magic, sorcery, crafts, and necromancy. Well, there you guys go. The father of all witchcraft, sorcery, and the dark arts was no other than Enki. Okay. All right. So let's see. Let me continue here. Enki's wisdom made him a mediator between men and gods. In Babylonian, he was the father of Marduk, who replaced Enlil when he was sent to the underworld. Enki was known for his skills in incantations, magic, sorcery. They keep referring to him as the god who gave man the knowledge of sorcery, incantations, and magic. Okay. People admired him for his ability to connect and discard spirits, leading them to offer prayers. Well, it sounds to me like he was positioning himself to be worshipped as a god, and in ancient times, of course. Originally the patron of Eridu, Enki's influence extended beyond Mesopotamia, being worshipped by various cultures like the Canaanites, the Hittites, and the Hurrians. Unlike other gods with localized cults, Enki's power was honored everywhere due to the people's fondness of him. Okay. Well, now let's touch on Zeus. All right, so I want you guys to also, as I read the article regarding who Zeus was, his attributes, his characteristics, and as I read the article who Enlil was, I want you guys to also see the correlations here. Cosmic Goddess. Let's see. Do I have another super chat? I don't. All right, so that's an old super chat. I'm going to go ahead and leave it. I think I've already addressed it. Cosmic Goddess, thank you so much for being here. All right, so let's learn about Zeus. Zeus is the Greek god of the sky and thunder and king of all the gods. Well, this is true because Zeus carried the highest concentration of Anunnaki, the original what? Guardian race that came from planet Sirius, or I'm sorry, from the star system of Sirius B. Okay, so I'm going to reveal who the original Anunnaki was, right? When our galaxy was under the threat of the expanding Draco-Ryan Empire, the king of Lyra, with the other 11 kings, decided to contribute their DNA to make a powerful being, while admixing it with the Blue Avians, the Blue Azurites, and again, the Cosmic Reishi, DNA from the fifth harmonic universe, to create a very powerful race. The king, the original person that resulted in that creation, was no other than King Kael. Why do you guys think the original name of Superman was Kael? King Kael, right? So Kael was the first Anunnaki, the first guardian of our galaxy. And then through his lineage, we had Anu. Okay, and then Anu gave birth to Enlil. Enlil was the proper here, by the way, because the Anunnaki are also known as the people who brought the royal galactic blood to the earth, which is, again, the royal blood of Sirius B, of the original guardians of our universe. All right, I do have one more super chat. So I'm going to take care of that real quick. This is from Light and Love. Thank you so much, sister, for being here. Just to say thank you, Ismael. We appreciate you for being here with us. Oh, you're welcome, sister. Thank you as well for being here. All right, so let's learn about Zeus, right? And let's see the resemblance between Zeus, according to the Greek accounts, and Enlil, according to the Sumerian accounts. Does that mean there's a commercial here? Huh. That's weird. Okay. All right, so let's learn about Zeus. Who is Zeus? Who was Zeus? One second here. All right, I'm back. Where's my water? I'm getting so thirsty. God, I grabbed. Oh, there it is. Again, for those that don't know, I drink mountain spring water. There you go, mountain spring water. Okay. All right. So where were we? All right. So Zeus is the Greek god of the sky and thunder and king of the gods. He was the first of the gods and a very imposing figure. Again, guys, the gods of mythology, the angels of the Bible, the guardian races of today, positive ATs, are all one and the same. Okay, as a reminder, the gods of mythology were the Nibirians. The Nibirians were given the earth to protect. They were also known as the Watchers in the book of the Bibles, the original books of the Bible. Okay, so let me continue here. So he was the first of the gods and a very imposing figure, often referred to as the father of gods and man. He is a sky god who controls lightning, often using it as a weapon, and thunder. So for those that have seen the movie Thor, it is believed that Thor and Zeus are one and the same, right? Norse mythology, Greek mythology, Egyptian mythology, they're all one and the same. They're all depicting the Nibirians, the guardians, the watchers of the earth in ancient times, right? The immortal races that descended from the higher dimensions into the lower dimensions. So basically what they were is they were fifth, sixth dimensional beings projecting a human avatar to appear like human, but they were really beings with a functional light body. And we do have a light body ourselves, by the way. It's just currently dormant. So he is a sky god who controls lightning and thunder. Zeus is the king of Mount Olympus, the home of the Greek gods, where he rules the world and imposes his will unto gods and mortals alike. Zeus was the last child of the Titans Kronos and Rhea. So this is according to the Greek translation. Of course, Kronos could be Anu, right? Rhea could be, what was her name? Nanar. Was it Nanar? No. So it was Anu and I think her name was Ninsu. I'm not sure, but yeah. So according to the Greek translation, Zeus was the child of the Titan Kronos and Rhea and avoided being swallowed by his father. Remember that story, right? Zeus's mother took the child, took him to the river, put him on a basket, and just protected him from Kronos. That is the same story repeated with Moses, who was, by the way, Akhenaten. All right, so let me continue. Who had been told one of his children would overthrow him when Rhea sought help from Uranus and Gaia. Kronos had previously swallowed Demeter, Hestia, Hera, Hades, and Poseidon. Okay. Along with Hades and Poseidon, Zeus shared the rule of the world and became king of Olympus. As the children of Kronos were filled with admiration for their noble brother and sided with him against their unjust father, and following Zeus into the battle of the Titans. Zeus mated with many goddesses and mortals, including Aegina, Alcmena, Calliope, Cassiopeia, Demeter, Dione, Europa, Io, Leto. Okay, so the list goes on. So yes, we do know that Zeus was a progenitor. What was it called? A seeder, right? He was a proliferator of the seed of the Anunnaki, right? That could be traceable all the way back to Sirius. So that's what gave birth to the different demigods who had all these amazing meta-human powers, right? So there is a correlation. The gods of old, right, the demigods and their children were the meta-humans in ancient times. All right, so let me continue. So roles and responsibilities of Zeus. But we do know that he had one primary wife, Hera, the goddess of marriage and monogamy. Okay, so roles and responsibilities of Zeus as the king of the gods and sitting atop the golden throne on Mount Olympus. Zeus was revered by all, mortals, kings, and boast that they were all descendants of Zeus. With the supreme power came a number of roles and responsibilities. Hesiod, who was a Greek historian, describes Zeus as a god who brought peace in place of violence and referred to him as the Lord of Justice. There you go. Zeus, who is Enlil, is known as the Lord of Justice according to the Greek translation. What does justice entail, guys? Righteousness, the balance, upholding, a harmonious cooperation of all living things. Justice, right? Justice is also what? Bringing down the law against tyranny, bringing down the law against wickedness, against the unrighteous. So if Zeus, according to the Greeks, was the holder of justice on the earth, then why would he be the evil guy according to Zachariah Sitchin and Billy Carson and everybody else who says, oh, Enlil was evil? Makes no sense, right? Makes no sense. Though he was most well known as God of the Sky and Thunder, Zeus was the supreme cultural embodiment of Greek religious beliefs. He had many epithets, titles that emphasized different aspects of complete and wide-ranging authority, appearances, and personalities. According to the Work in Days by Hesiod, Zeus was a carefree god who loved and laughed out loud. He was regarded as wise, fair. Let me read that again. He was regarded as wise, fair, just, merciful, and prudent, right? When Poseidon, on the other hand, was what? Regarded as this mean, temperament, violent god. Think about it. How they were all switched, right? I do have another super chat, so I'm going to go ahead and take care of that. I want to welcome all 767 people in the house. Thank you guys for being here. So this is a super chat from Deidra Swan. How you doing, sister? What power does Athena have, and what role does she play today? Well, we do know that in ancient Greece, the torch was given over to Athena by Zeus in order to maintain the scales of justice. So what if, this is a postulation, what if the Statue of Liberty, right, was no other than the symbolism of Athena, right, as far as in the creation of the United States Constitutional Republic, which brings the scales of justice. So Athena's role in ancient times was similar to her father's role, which was what? To make sure that there is righteousness on the planet, to make sure that there was justice against evil, against wickedness, against, wrongdoers. So that was, I believe personally, that as the daughter of Zeus, just like all his children, they were all here to preserve the golden age. Because when there is justice, we have a golden age, right? As soon as justice is being overthrown, we have dark ages, we have corruption, we have tyranny, we have communism. Maybe I shouldn't say that word here. You guys know what I mean, right? And by the way, there is no difference between communism and fascism, all right? They are one and the same. There's only two forms of government. There's freedom, right? And then there is tyranny or fascism, communism, whatever you want to call it. All right, so I'm going to continue here. Looks like we have another super chat. All right, let's see. Is this another super chat from Clementine? Clementine, did you just give me another super chat? Let's see. Well, I don't see it on my end, so. So let me see if I could read this without my glasses. So Ishmael, was the Anunnaki guardians or invaders of developing humanity? If guardians, who put them in charge? Okay, so like I said earlier, the Anunnaki were infiltrated by the reptilians through Enki. The original Anunnaki were guardians of Sector 9 of the cluster that we belong to, which consists of 1,000 worlds. So not only were they watching over the earth, but they were also watching over the Pleiades. They were also watching over Taygeta, Coeli, the Maya star system, Europa star system, that revolve around the Alcyone star system. So they were the guardians of our sector. That's who the Anunnaki were. But again, the term Anunnaki means those that come from heaven to earth. They were originally known as the Nibirians. So that's who the gods of mythology are and were, the Nibirians. And then you have another question, Clementine. Thank you so much for your super chat. How are demigods different from Nephilim? Both are offspring of Anunnaki and human. Well, there is a difference, by the way. So the Anunnaki, the offspring of Zeus, were Lyran Syrian, carried Lyran Syrian genetics. All right. Whereas the fallen Anunnaki, which were the offspring of Enki and the Igigi, were made up of reptilian genetics, gray genetics, insectoid, mantis. So they weren't part of the original human blueprint. So that is the difference. The demigods were people who were part Anunnaki and part human. So they were still Lyran Syrian and part human. They didn't have gray, they didn't have reptilian, they didn't have zeta, they didn't have insectoid. All right, so that is the difference. The giants, on the other hand, did not have Lyran Syrian genetics. They were part human, part, all these other things that are not part of the original Adamic blueprint. So that is the difference between the demigods that were the offspring of the good Anunnaki and the Nephilim that were the offspring of the fallen Anunnaki or the reptilian Anunnaki. So hopefully that makes sense. That's a very good question, though, Clementine. All right, so let me go back. Where am I? So Zeus is known as Lord of the Justice, though he is most well known as God of the Sky and Thunder. Zeus was a supreme cultural embodiment of Greek religious beliefs. He had many epithets, titles that emphasized different aspects of complete and wide-ranging authorities, appearances, and personalities. According to the work and Days by Hesiod, I don't know how do you guys pronounce Hesiod? Hesiod or Hesiod. Zeus was a carefree god who loved and laughed out loud. There you go, right? This doesn't sound to me like a tyrant god, like Poseidon, who was a very temperament god. This sounds to me like a god who would descend and have fun and tell jokes and hang out with human beings and protect them and give them gifts. That's what this sounds like to me. Enlil was good, okay, according to this account. If you see the correlation between Zeus and Enlil, then you know that they're one and the same. All right, so Zeus was a carefree god who loved to laugh out loud. He was regarded as wise, fair, just, merciful, and prudent. He was also unpredictable. Nobody was able to guess the decisions he would make. It sounds to me like he was really just down to earth. Like he was like Thor. Just like how Thor is down to earth. When you guys watch the movie Thor, right? Thor was, when he comes down to the earth from Asgard, he loves to laugh, play, he drinks beer, he hangs out with humans. That's what Zeus is resembling to me. And so there is a similarity, by the way, in comparison to Norse mythology, that Thor and Zeus are one and the same. They're both a thunderbolt god, right? Guardian of the nine sector, guardian of the nine realm, just like as portrayed in the movie Thor. Okay, so let me continue. Oh, look at this. Zeus. Where am I? Okay. So, one second, guys. I don't know where I left off. Okay, so roles and responsibilities of Zeus as the king of the gods and sitting atop the golden throne on Mount Olympus. I've already read that. So he describes Zeus as God has brought peace, place. So he would bring peace in place of violence. That's another indicator that he was good. Zeus and Enlil brought peace to replace violence. So wherever there are disputes, wherever these violent disputes would break out, Zeus would always come and make sure that there was peace, okay? And referred to him as Lord of Justice. So that's how people knew him in those times, in the ancient Atlantean times. Though he was most well known as the god of the sky and thunder, Zeus was the supreme culture embodiment of Greek religious beliefs. He had many titles that emphasized different aspects of complete and wide-ranging authority, appearances, and personalities. Oh, I think I've already read that. He was regarded as wise, fair, just, merciful, and prudent. He was also unpredictable. Nobody was able to guess where his decisions would be. He was also easily angered, which could be very destructive. Okay, I'm thinking that they're saying that he was angered when it came to the wicked and the unjust, right? Because he was there as the person who would bring justice. So for the wicked, of course, he would, use his thunderbolts to put them in place, right? He has previously hurled lightning bolts and caused violent storms that wreaked havoc on the unjust. There you go. More confirmation that he used his abilities, his powers to put the unjust in their place, the wicked. Okay. Zeus fell in love easily and had many affairs with various women. However, he would severely punish anybody who attempted to fall in love with his wife Hera, like the giant Porphyron, who took a lightning bolt from the enraged god for lusting after his wife. All right, so when it came to his wife, he wasn't down for that. He was often described as a strong, imposing man with a regal body and long, often curly hair. He usually had a short beard or scruff and carried his trusty thunderbolt at all times. Zeus's romantic escapades in the pantheon of the Greek gods, Zeus, the mighty ruler of Olympus, was notorious for his amorous adventures, despite being wedded to Hera, the embodiment of marital fidelity. Well, I'm starting to think that there was a reason why Zeus had many girlfriends, because he wanted to proliferate the bloodline of what? Of the guardian races, of the Lyrian, Syrian DNA, which gave us the heroes of old, right? And then later we know that same bloodline manifested in the form of Abraham, his descendants, King David, Solomon, the Magi Grail king line, which stems from Zeus, right? So it makes a lot of sense. All right. So now we know him as the descendants of the White Hats, by the way. So that's the connection, by the way, guys. The White Hats, Princess Diana, right? JFK Jr., are the descendants of one of many children that were begot by Zeus, is what I'm trying to say. So the battle between Poseidon and Enki, who is the backbone of the cabal, right, through the fallen Nephilim, reptilian, gray, Zeta, right, and the battle between Zeus's children still continues today, between the deep state, right, or I want to say the cabal. I don't want to use the word me, you know what I mean, and of course the White Hats. Okay, all right, so that makes a lot of sense. Oh, all right. So I really don't want to read about all his love affairs. That's not important. Let me skip down a little bit. Okay, so Zeus fathered Apollo and Artemis with Leto. The first wife of Zeus was Metis, was the mother of Athena, who was born from Zeus's head. Dione, she was the mother of Aphrodite, and in some accounts, Maya, a nymph and one of the Pleiades. She was the mother of Hermes. There we go. That is the connection with the Pleiades. Zeus was, you could say, commissioned by the Alcyone Council of the Pleiades, which is the system that we belong to, right? Our solar system is the eighth missing star that revolves around Alcyone in a revolution of 26,000 years. To commission, he was commissioned by Alcyone to protect the Earth, right? Because during those days, remember, there was a full-out war between the Draco-Ryan Empire and the Pleiadians of Taygeta, of Alcyone, of Maya, of Arope. There's Cleito. There's so many star systems in the Pleiades. So that makes a lot of sense, guys, right? The War of the Gods was part of the Galactic Wars. Okay, let me continue. Europa, which is, again, the name of, these are terms describing the seven sisters that revolve around Alcyone. Europa. Zeus famously abducted Europa in the form of a bull. She bore him 3 sons, including Minos and Radamanthys. Okay. I do see another super chat. Oh no, that's the same one from Cosmic Goddess. All right, so Semele, the mother of Dionysus. Semele was the mother of Dionysus. Zeus appeared to be her in Zeus appeared to her in his true form, and she perished. But Zeus saved their unborn child. And we do know that there is a correlation between Joshua and Dionysus, right? According to the Greek translation, the son of Zeus, Dionysus, had a similar story to Jesus. He had 12 apostles. He was put to death. And then on the third day, Dionysus resurrected. That's another tale. Anyways, let me continue. Leda, Zeus's approach to Leda in the form of a swan, and she became the mother of Helen of Troy and Pollux. Alcmene, the mortal mother of Hercules. Hercules in Roman mythology. By the way, guys, mythology, all these characters from mythology are real. They all existed in ancient times during the age of Atlantis. All right, let's see. Let me keep Callisto. Oh, I skipped Perseus. 1 second. All right, so Danae. Zeus appeared to her as a shower of gold, leading to the birth of Perseus. Ganymede, a beautiful Trojan prince whom Zeus abducted to serve as the cupbearer of the gods. Callisto was a nymph who transformed herself into a bear and later became the constellation of Ursa Major. Antiope, a mortal woman who bore Zeus' twin sons, Amphion and Cephas. Well, I didn't know he had. Man, Zeus had a lot of children. I've never even heard of some of these children. Niobe, another mortal woman loved by Zeus. Thalia, one of the Graces, with whom Zeus fathered the Charites. This is very interesting. I really like Greek mythology, guys. There's a lot of good information here. Let's see. Zeus, the Greek god of the sky and thunder, is the king of all gods. As the father of gods and men, he controls lightning and thunder, ruling from Mount Olympus, the home of the Greek gods. Zeus, born to the Titan Cronus and Rhea, narrowly escaped being swallowed by his father with siblings like Hades and Poseidon. Zeus fought against Cronos in the Battle of the Titans, becoming the king of the Olympians. So this is just a summary. Zeus had many romantic relationships with goddesses and mortals, but he was married to Hera, the goddess of marriage. As the king of the gods, Zeus had roles and responsibilities, bringing justice and peace to the mortal realm. All right, for those that believe Enlil, Zeus was evil, according to this translation, he was the one who upheld justice and peace. Let's see. I want to welcome all 779 people that are watching. Thank you so much for being here. You guys are awesome. Described by Hesiod, Zeus was wise, fair, just, merciful. Easily angered, he would cause destructive storms and hurl lightning thunderbolts when it came to those that went against justice, right? He was the upholder of justice. Despite being married to Hera, Zeus had numerous affairs leading to the birth of many gods and heroes. In appearance, Zeus was a strong, imposing father with a regal body, long, often curly hair. Okay, so I've already described all of this. Let's see. Yeah. Okay, so now let's go over the characteristics of Enlil, the Sumerian god, okay? The second born of Anu. And by the way, Enlil's mother was the queen of Alcyone, right? That's another correlation with the Pleiades. So that means Enlil Zeus was a full-fledged galactic human angel, whereas Enki was not. He was part galactic Syrian through his father Anu and part reptilian draconian through his mother Draman. All right, let's see. So now let's talk about Enlil. Can you guys give me a second here? I'm going to drink some water. How's everyone doing out there? Happy Saturday evening. I want to welcome everyone. How many people are in the house? 779. Awesome. Oh, thank you guys for all the love. I'm seeing a lot of people hitting the like button. Thank you guys. You guys are awesome. I want to welcome Light and Love, Larry Harrison, or Hanson, I'm sorry, Digital Revolution, Joseph Martin, Spirito Ansna, MJ Elf, Jimmy W, Mathis Chronicles, Neil, Lamoria, Cricket Bug, Matthew, All Paul, Jimmy W, Angie, Cynthia Hall, Ariel Darkstar, Sam Barton, Tony Lopez, David Hakes, Joanna Sunshine, everyone in the house. Thank you. Thank you. Fifth Harmonic Universe. Tolone. Thank you guys for being in the house. Yes, Tolone says Enki and Enlil had different mothers. Yes, I just mentioned that Enlil Zeus, his mother was the queen of Alcyone of the Pleiades. And Enki's mother was the queen of the Alpha Draconis system, Dramin. So one of them represented, right, the royal house of Lyra in the Pleiades. Right after the Lyra diaspora, when the Dracos attacked the Lyrans, many of the Lyrans fled to the different star systems to seek refuge. Well, one of the main star systems in which they inhabited was the Pleiades. So that's why Zeus is a full-fledged royal galactic, or he brought to the earth a full-fledged royal galactic blood from his mother Alcyone and his father Anu. And then, of course, Enki was half and half angel, half demon. Right? Zeus was full-blooded angel. And it is believed that in terms of Michael the Archangel, Zeus is his representative, was his representative on the earth. So we could say that Michael the Archangel, right? If our ancestors lived through us, right? It was expressing himself through Zeus to maintain justice here on this planet. Whereas Enki, Poseidon, was the fallen one. He was represented by Lucifer. So that's another correlation. Zeus was a fractal of Michael the Archangel, whereas Enki was a fractal of Lucifer. Sorry, of Lucifer. Oh, this is a good one. Jamie Lavenway says, Ishmael, who was the face on Mars? You know, that is a controversial topic because it is a human face, and some people believe, because Alalu, remember I was talking about the Iberian commander prior to Anu was Alalu. Alalu took over Mars, and that's the reason why Mars fell. After, of course, he used Mars as a way to transfer the Draconians into our solar system on planet Maldek. So many believe that the face in Mars that the whistleblowers have taken pictures of when they go to Mars is no other than Alalu. Who knows? All right. But we do know that it is a human face that depicted that at one point there was an advanced human civilization that leaned towards service to self, right? Which caused their destruction. We also have another super chat from Sony McCarthy. Sony McCarthy, Enki is connected to dragons. Are there good dragons that are not Draco? Yes, there are. So we have good dragons, and then we have the evil dragons come from the Draco star system. But the original dragons come from the central universe, the fifth harmonic universe. So yes, to answer your question is yes, we have both good and bad dragons. And our dragons linked to the elements. The good ones are. See, the good dragons are also magical creatures. And they are connected to the elemental kingdom. Yes, absolutely. The draconian dragons used to be magical, but they began to integrate with AI to become more powerful. So they became more cybernetic. And as a result of that, began to lose their magical powers. And so that's what ended up happening with the Alpha Draconis. Oh my God, I have another super chat from Sunshine. Thank you so much for being here, sister. She says, I dreamed a huge round library in the sky, as high as I can see. I was outside and clouds were shades of violet. Any idea where my soul might have been? Valentina, hello. Um, so you had a dream about this huge library in the sky. Okay. That could just be a metaphor. It could be a metaphor to the fact that as we get closer to our a transformation into Homo luminous, all of that knowledge is going to be available back to us. All of that lost information of who we were, what we were before we became human, is all coming back to us. Not to mention, we're also going to have access to the Akashic records. Speaking of the Akashic records, I did put out a clip today, a short about the Akashic records. Make sure you guys watch that. All right, so let's read about the Enlil. Okay, and this is how this in this article you're going to see the many correlations between Zeus and Enlil. So the supreme god and arbitrator in one Babylonian story, Enlil is a supreme god who holds the tablets of destiny. The tablets of destiny was another thing that Marduk was trying to steal from Enlil in order to control the planet. So it is believed that the title of the ruler of the earth is known as the title of the 50, and I believe that Enlil held that title during the age of the bull, which corresponds to the age of the heroes of old, when Zeus and his children maintained justice on earth for thousands of years before Enki's son Marduk took over. I do have another super chat from Kathy Berg. Thank you so much for being here. And your question is, are any of these Greek mythology characters in our current 3D reality helping us galactic Jedis? Do you know by human name now? Do you know by human name now? All right, so the gods are continuing to exist through their descendants. So their descendants, remember, the demigods had children, their children had children, and so their descendants live today. So whoever those descendants are, you are the embodiment of all of your ancestry combined. So yes, they do exist in human form, and they have returned, okay, especially the descendants of Enlil Zeus through the offspring. So the gods are going to be coming back through their offspring. That's a very good question. And remember, guys, when the ascension takes place, there's going to be different levels of powers. All right. Not everyone's going to be at the same level. All right. So we're going to have like X-Men mutant type superhumans. And then above them, we're going to have like gods, like superhumans, like with abilities beyond the gods of old. So I believe that those that are going to be the cream of the crop when it comes to the rise of meta-humans, which is expected any day now, through the activation of the dormant DNA, those are going to be at the top of the starseed nation. So there's going to be different levels of power, brackets of exaltation, you could say. So the ones that are going to be the most powerful are the ones that are the direct descendants of the gods and the demigods of old. I do have another super chat. Let's see. Oh, I don't have another super chat. All right. Oh, okay. So let me continue with the article. But on this screen, it says I do. Interesting. Oh, it's the same one. Okay. I want to welcome all 767 people in the house. Thank you for spending your Saturday evening with me. Oh, I want to read this. Okay, so apparently this is shared from the Galactic Jedi D. Jonah Ray. She's saying that Nino Rodriguez interviewed a captain at Space Force. Very interesting info. He said that Earth is not flat. Bingo, there you go. I love it when the truth comes out. All right, that the Earth isn't flat. That's going to put a cap to all the flat earthers out there. I still get some people hating on me because of that, guys, sending me some, nasty comments, not only here, but on my social media. How dare you believe that the Earth is round, blah, 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 and that there is space. There are no galaxies. There are no stars and no planets. Everything's here in the dome. Okay. Let's see. All right, so I'm going to continue. All right. Well, before I continue, let me address this next super chat from Sunshine. Jesus called the Creator, or the one highest one, what you call the source, his Father. A lot of the New Age mystical are not saying this is true. Do you know why is that? Why do people find it hard to believe that source came down on earth, incarnated? Jesus said he was his son. All right, well, let me answer the first part of the question. That's actually a very good question, Sunshine. Thank you for asking it. Okay, so you're saying that Jesus called the Creator, the one, highest one, what you call the source of his Father. Okay, no, that's not the case. So Jesus is the incarnating Michael of Nebadon, who is in charge of our local universe. His father is Melchizedek Yahweh, who is in charge of the 12 universes. So when Jesus was referring to his father, he was referring to Melchizedek Yahweh, who is the creator of the 12 universes. But there is prime creator source above Melchizedek Yahweh. Prime creator source has no gender, and it's more of a feminine nurturing principle. So we could call it the Great Mother. So at the highest level, we could say that even above the creator gods themselves, we have the Great Mother Goddess. And that's going to be something that's going to be hard for many people to swallow, when many people have thought that God was this man. But no, God has no gender, and every archetype, every celestial, every angel, every overseer of every universe has a feminine counterpart. It is the balance between divine feminine and divine masculine energies coming together as one balance. So when Jesus was referring to his Father, he was referring to the universal consciousness, the Logos, which oversees the 12 creations. All right, as Jesus was what? Ruler of the 12 creation. So to answer your question, a lot of the New Age mystical people are saying this is not true. So there is a difference, guys, between source and the creator gods of local universes, okay? And even Zeus, Enlil, always gave glory to the unseen God. Believe it or not, even Zeus always gave glory to the unseen God, which was known as Source, Prime Creator Source. Even Zeus used to say, I am not God. I'm just here working and being an instrument to the one unseen God. So Zeus was referring to Prime Creator Source as well. And then the third part of your question is, well, every single one of you guys is source and embodiment. So let's not believe or think that source came down 2,000 years ago to incarnate as Joshua. No. Each and every single one of you is source and embodiment, guys. Source is experiencing itself through all of the fractals, all right? And that's how it co-creates the universe, is through our experiences. So we live in a participatory universe, and there is scientific evidence for that. Let me answer the rest of your question. Again, the idea that source came down to the earth and only incarnated as one person was a misinterpretation by religious authorities. When the truth of the matter is that source, which is everything, in which is the first source and center that everything comes from, is experienced through what? Through every living entity across the multiverse. We are all one and the same. Nobody's above nobody else. Nobody's better than nobody else. Every single being has a role to play in the creation of the multiverse. Okay? Man, you guys are asking some seriously good questions. And I have another super chat from Clementine Cooper. Clementine Cooper, thank you so much for the super chat, sister. You're asking if God in the Old Testament and Anunnaki, was he called Yahweh? Yes, yes. So in the Old Testament, the original, you could say, deity of the Hebrews was Zeus, Enlil, Yahweh, Jehovah. However, later that name was hijacked by Marduk, the son of Enki, who later called himself Yahweh when the Council of Nicaea, with the rise of the Roman Catholic Church, rewrote everything around to bring about world domination, the resurrection of the Holy Roman Empire. That was Marduk's gig. But the original Yahweh was actually good. He was protecting the original human angelic seed that was the original ancient Israelic tribe that manifested through, King David, Solomon, Jesus, Mary Magdalene, the community of the Essenes of Qumran, and then later manifested in the form of the Knights Templars, and they continue to exist today. So yeah, just to answer your question, the Anunnaki god, the Nibirian Anunnaki Enlil Zeus, was Jehovah, Yahweh, El Shaddai. He had so many names. Elion, which means the lion, by the way. Well, guess why he was also known as the lion god? Because he was the representative of the royal galactic blood of Lyra and Sirius when they came together to create this powerful race known as the Anunnaki. Very good question, sister. But again, Marduk, Belial, Baal, the son of Enki, corrupted everything, and he made himself look like he was Yahweh. And then, not to mention, he also hijacked the name Ra, and then he called himself Amun Ra, right? So Marduk took over many transcripts, many manuscripts, and he called himself. He kind of consolidated all of the gods into him because he wanted to be the sole ruler of this planet, right? Ushering the Dark Ages. All right, so that's enough for the super chat. By the way, as soon as I'm done with my articles, I will be just taking random questions. Like I said, I'm going to try to answer everybody's questions. So this is your time to spend with me today, guys. Galactic Jedis, thank you so much for being here. All right, let's go back to the article. These are holy objects. Where am I? Okay, so Enlil is the supreme god who holds the tablets of destiny. These are holy objects that gave legitimacy to his rule and are stolen by Anzu, a giant monstrous bird who envies Enlil's power and position. While Enlil is taking a bath, many gods and heroes attempt to recover it from Anzu. Finally, it is Ninurta, Enlil's son, who defeats Anzu and returns with the tablets, those cementing Enlil's position as the chief god in the pantheon. So it sounds to me like Anzu, the one who stole the tablets of destiny from Enlil Zeus, was no other than Enki. Because remember, Enki was also a shapeshifter, all right? And Enki was the one who brought the technology and the knowledge to China. Remember, China talked about the serpent god that came from the sea. Well, hello, who do you think the god of the sea was? Poseidon Enki. And today we know that China is fully controlled by AI. Well, what happened to Enki when he went to the outer skirts of our universe? He was corrupted by AI, and now that he returned, Enki is now a cyborg, right? And he's using people in our community. I'm not going to mention any names, but she proclaims to be the only galactic emissary, and that Enki has returned and is going to bring us the keys of immortality. Bullcrap. Don't fall into that cultish, savior mentality. All right, so let me go ahead and continue here. Let's see. So Sumerian poems. One second. I just want to make sure I covered all the super chats. Okay, so Sumerian poems credit Enlil with being the inventor of the pixates, Pixax, sorry, let me read that again. Sumerian poems credit Enlil for being the inventor of the pickaxe, an important agricultural tool for the early Sumerians. So, according to this version, Enlil was the one who gave us agriculture, who gave us the tools that we need to become a civilized society. Okay, Enlil is praised for conjuring it into existence and gifting it to humanity. The pickaxe is described as being very lovely, made of pure gold and with a head made of lapis lazuli, whatever that means. Enlil teaches humans to use it to pull up weeds and grow plants, build cities, and conquer other people. Other poems describe Enlil as being an arbitrator of quarrels. Well, there's another correlation to Zeus, right? Zeus, the upholder of justice, would also act as an arbitrator to squash quarrels, violence, and debates. Here is another correlation, guys. He is said to have established the god Enten and Emesh, a shepherd and a farmer, to encourage abundance and a flourishing civilization. When the two gods fall out because Emesh lays claim to Enten's position, Enlil intervenes and rules in favor of the latter, leading to the two making up. Aw, see? Enlil was good, right? He was good. He taught us agriculture. He gave us the keys to a society so that we could become a harmonious society, right? Not barbaric. All right, there's more, I think. I've already read that. 1 second. I do have a super chat. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and address the super chats as they're coming in. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you for your support. You guys are awesome. So this is from Sunshine. Sunshine, your question is, who defeats the AI after the millennium? Yahweh? No, us. We do. We defeat the AI. All right. We are the cosmic experiment that was conducted by the Emerald Order to defeat the AI as soon as we activate the dormant DNA, because we have the God Source gene, which is the most powerful gene in the multiverse to have in physical embodiment. So at the end of the millennium, we, the star children, or what we call ourselves the star adults now because we're grown, are going to defeat the AI and put an end to that time loop. And then the second part of your question, local universe creator, Jesus Father, or prime source? Okay, so prime source stands at the womb of all creation. We are part of a multiverse. Each universe has their own overseer, creator, God, and goddess. All right, but each universe is also part of one of 12 creations. We are currently existing in the 12th creation. And at the head of the 12th creation, we have Melchizedek Yahweh. Above him, we have Metatron, who is the overseer of the super universe of Orvonton, which oversees the 12 creations. And then Orvonton, the super universe that we are a part of, is one of 6 super universe that is all overseen and emanates it from Prime Creator, who is at the center of the mother central universe. So that's who Prime Creator is. It's the womb of all creation. So from the top down, we have Prime Creator Source. Then we have the 7 rulers of the super universes. So we're part of the 7th super universe. We have Metatron, who is the overseer of our super universe. Underneath Metatron, we have the 12 creations, right? The 12 creations are overseen by Melchizedek Yahweh. And then within each creation, we have innumerable local universes, the metaverse. So Michael is in charge of our local universe, right? And then the second part of your question is, I know we will help out, but who are we helping? We're helping the organic multiverse, the organic way of life, by defeating Omega Saurian Metatron, not the original Metatron, right? He adopted the name Metatron as the end of worlds, as the destroyer of universes. By defeating him, we're also preserving the natural organic multiverse, the living conscious multiverse. And you guys are asking some serious, really good questions. I love it. You guys are really putting me to think tonight. I don't normally get the same questions over and over. When is ascension going to happen? When is EBS going to happen? What is RH negative blood type? You guys are really asking me some deep questions. I love it. Tristan is saying, who are you looking forward to at the Conscious Life Expo? I will be there all weekend. Who are you looking forward to at? Who am I looking forward to at? Well, I mean, I've already met most of the people, like, Linda Moulton Howie, Caroline Corey. I've already met Nick Pope, Laura Eisenhower. I mean, I've done, panels with Laura Eisenhower. So I guess the only person that I really want to meet is, and I've already met Daryl, who channels Bashar. You know what? I'm just looking forward to having a good time. I've already met all of the other speakers on different expos or in different conferences, so I'm not looking forward to meeting anybody else. But other than that, yeah, I'm just looking forward to delivering a beautiful, powerful presentation, blowing people's mind, right, with my presentation, and then of course sharing what I know on Sunday during the Ascension panel. All right, so let's see. Oh, yeah, and by the way, that's in 2 weeks, guys. Make sure you guys get your tickets. If you guys are going to the Conscious Life Expo, I am presenting in the rabbit hole from 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. in the morning. So wake up early. Make sure you're there. Drink your cup of coffee because I'm going to be blowing your mind away. All right? I'm going to be sharing new information that I haven't shared before. All right, so let me go back to the topic of tonight, the battle of the gods for the control of the earth. All right, so, wait, did I miss a super chat? Let me see. I think I answered them all. Yeah, I think I've answered them all. Okay, cool. All right, so as I continue here, all right, so other poems describe Enlil as being an arbitrator of quarrels and debates. He's said to have established the gods Entin and okay, I think I've already read this. Okay, the next article is Patreon of Eridu. Okay, so now we're going to read about Poseidon Enki, the great trickster, who correlates with Norse mythology Loki. There's another correlation there, guys. Loki, the great trickster in Norse mythology, is Enki, Poseidon, right? Thor, right? The guardian of the 9 realms is Zeus, Enlil. That's another correlation. Again, all of the mythologies from the past are all the same characters under different names depending on the different interpretations, but they're all one and the same. They are the Watchers, the Nibirians, the Guardians. And then we do know that half of those Guardians decided to rebel against the light, and they became the fallen Anunnaki. In other words, they joined the Luciferian rebellion through Enki, and who was also Samjesa, by the way. Enki was Samjesa, the fallen, angel that took 50% of the Anunnaki. Well, he convinced them to, join him on his quest for galactic dominance. This is beyond our world, guys. This was like he was really trying to take over the galaxy, and that actually ties into the secret space programs. By the way, everything is interwoven. The reason they created the super soldier programs was to pretty much use our genetics as a final solution to battle it out in our universe to see who would become, supreme, right? The angelic humans, right, through us, or the Draco reptilians slash cybernetic artificial intelligence people. And then, of course, we do win that war because of the God Source in us, right? Because of the God Source gene in us. All right, patron god of Eridu. The Sumerians believe that Eridu was the first city created by the gods. It was where, at the beginning of the world, law and order was first conferred to human beings. It later came to be known as the city of the first kings and remained an important religious site for thousands of years for the Mesopotamians. It is significant that the god of wisdom and intelligence was the patron god of the holy city. So, okay, so this is one of the tempered tablets, all right? They're making Enki look like Enlil, all right? Because we do know that Enlil was the arbitrator of debates, the upholder of justice, the god of righteousness, and now they're saying Enki was known as the possessor of what gave man the gift of civilization, and that is not true. So this is obviously a tempered version. Now I'm going to go ahead and read it so you guys can see how the translations were completely modified. All right, so it is significant that the god of wisdom and intelligence was the patron god of the holy city. Enki was known as the possessor of the gift of civilization. Excavations shown that Enki's temple, built several times over in the same location, was known as Abzu. Abzu. Well, what was the Abzu? Africa. Where do you think they started enslaving the humans to mine the gold? In Africa? That's another indicator that Enki created the slave race, okay? Which translates to House of Abzu, a more poetic name meaning House of the Subterranean Waters. The temple was believed to have a pool of fresh water at its entrance, and cart bones suggest the existence of fish in the pool. This was the design that all Sumerian temples followed henceforth, showing Eridu's place as a leader of Sumerian civilization. Enki is depicted on several Mesopotamian seals with two rivers, the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, flowing over his shoulders. He is shown wearing a long skirt and robes and a horn cap, the mark of divinity. He has a long beard, and an eagle is shown to be flying down to sit on his outstretched arm. Okay, that's another lie, because we also know that the eagle is associated with Zeus, right? The eagle represents justice. The eagle represents freedom, all right? The eagle represents the republic. So this is another tampered version. Let's see. He has a long beard, and an eagle is shown to be flying down to sit on his arm. Enki stands with 1 foot elevated, climbing the mountain of sunrise. The most well-known for these seals is the Ada seal, an old Akkadian seal that also depicts Inanna. Several old royal inscriptions talk about the needs of Enki. Reeds, plants that grew by the water, were used by the Sumerians to make baskets, sometimes to carry the dead or the sick. In one Sumerian hymn, Enki said to fill the empty riverbeds with his waters. This duality of life and death for Enki is interesting, given that he was primarily known as the life giver. Again, this is another tampered record that was completely changed to make him look like the good guy. And that's the reason why some people in this community say that he's the good guy, because they take these tablets without questioning them, right? It's like reading the Bible and not questioning the Bible, saying, okay, everything that the Bible says is 100% accurate. It's the same thing, guys. I do have another super chat that I will address. Or maybe not. Oh, I do. David Easington. Thank you so much, brother, for your super chat and for the number one. I appreciate that. I'm Grant Wilson. Google banned me. Oh, sorry to hear that, brother. Will the 5D Sophia Terra be ready for us? Houses, infrastructures, replicators, as we need rest for training for the war. Yes, absolutely. That's why we're going to have 1,000 years to prepare for that final battle against the AI god and his minions, and Enki, of course. In which time we're going to be able to further activate our dormant DNA up to 100%. Because even at 20%, we become like the X-Men. At 40%, we become like Superman or Black Adam or a metahuman. At 60%, we're able to stop time, manipulate everything, pause things, literally manipulate reality at will. That's just a 60%. Okay, if you guys want to get an idea of what it's like to use 100%, go watch the movie Lucy with Scarlett Johansson. Oh my God, that movie pretty much tells you how powerful we are if we were to use 100% of our full genetic material. And that's how we're going to be defeating the AI God at the end of the millennium. So yeah, we're going to have 1,000 years to train, to access more abilities, and to continue expanding in our ascension and evolution. Absolutely. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and read another article. And then after this next article, I promise, guys, for the next hour, I'm just going to go down the chat and I'm just going to answer as many questions as possible, okay? This is the last article. We are at 2 hours in. It only seemed like 20 minutes. Time sure does fly when you're having fun, right? Okay, let's see. Maybe that was the last article. 1 second. Oh, and by the way, guys, I did post my presentation at the Portal to Ascension in my Rumble channel. So if you guys want to watch that, it's an hour long. Oh my God, I break down the 12 different universes, the war with AI, and a lot of stuff. So it's deep. Make sure you guys subscribe to my Rumble channel. I always put the links in the descriptions, right? Or you could just look for me under the real Ishmael Perez. And every Friday night, I will be going live on my Rumble channel where I will be uncensored, talking freely without using code words, okay? All right, so one more article. Poseidon's role in the Trojan War. All right, you know what? Let me drink some water. 1 second. Oh, am I out of water? I better go get some more. All right, I got to go get some water in the car, but I'll do it after the live. So for now, I'm just going to have to deal with no water. All right, so where am I? Okay, so during the Trojan War, Poseidon sided with the Greeks, at least in part because he was still angry with Troy for the treatment he had received at the hands of Laomedon, the father of King Priam. Apollo and Poseidon were contracted by Laomedon to build walls around the city. I don't know if I believe this because we do know that Apollo was the son of Zeus, and there was always constant conflict between the children of Zeus and, of course, the children of Poseidon, Enki. Oops, hold on 1 second. You guys, there we go. I'm leaning back on my chair so I can relax a little bit. Okay, so let's see. The two gods agreed to perform this manual labor either because they wanted to test him or because Zeus had decreed as punishment for a rebellion of which they had both seemed to be a part of, that they work for Laomedon, whoever he was. In any case, at the end of the year, Laomedon would pay them and even threaten to sell them as slaves. Apollo responded by sending a plague, and Poseidon sent a sea monster to terrorize them. Apollo apparently did not hold a grudge, since he always favored the Trojans. But Poseidon sided with the Greeks in the Trojan War. Okay. Despite favoring the Greeks, however, Poseidon, like Athena, was quickly angered by the less than perfect behaviors of the victorious Greeks. Poseidon helped Athena punish the lesser Ajax for his rape of Cassandra during the sack of Troy. So I guess this is some of the Greek history, pretty much. And of course, a lot of the Greek history is shrouded with the involvement of the gods and the demigods. Let's see. Later, Ajax for his rape. Okay, I guess I've already read that. Let's see. I want to read a good one. I don't know. I think I'm done with the articles. That's it, right? Okay. All right, guys. At this point, I'm going to start from the top and I'm going to address as many questions as possible. This is where I give you guys a full hour of answering questions, so that way I don't miss anyone. So I'm going to start. Actually, I'll start at the bottom and I'll work my way up. Since the chat is going pretty fast, I want to welcome all 763 people in the house. Thank you for being here on a Saturday night. All right, so Joanna is saying good night. I guess it's already what, 11 o'clock in 7, 8, 9, 10. It's already 10 o'clock in New York or Eastern time. Good night, sister. Pleasant dreams. Okay. Let's see. Who are the Cedars? This is a good question from Sam Griffin. The Cedars are the Syrians. The Syrians were the original progenitors of the Orifim human 12-strand DNA race. So the Syrians are the ones who seeded us, not the Anunnaki. The Anunnaki just downgraded us. So we come from, well, if you want to be technical, the original humans come from Lyra. All right. That's why it's very important to order a copy of my book or get the audio. A lot of the questions that you guys asked me, they're answered in great detail in my book or Cosmic Origin. But just to answer your question, this Earth was seeded by refugees of Lyra that spread throughout the entire galaxy and other galaxies to preserve the human race. And so the original seeders of our race, of our particular kind, which were the original 12-strand DNA Terranusian race, were the Lyrian Syrians. Okay, that's who seeded us, by the way. Good question, Sam Griffin. Now, another question from, I see a super chat from Sunshine. Hello, Sunshine. Thank you for being here, sister. Your question is, what are you taking for pain? What am I taking for pain? I don't have any pain. But when I do have pain due to inflammation because I work out a lot or muscle spasm, I like to take CBD. I like to take CBD oil. I also take kava for anxiety. But yeah, I just take natural stuff, Oh, turmeric. I take a lot of turmeric as well. And then the second part of your question is, oh, by the way, I wouldn't trust the pharmaceutical companies. Forget taking aspirin. Forget taking Tylenol. All that stuff is bad for you guys. All right. If you guys want to take supplements, make sure they're organic. Make sure they're natural, holistic. Plant medicine is good. Herbs are good. I wouldn't take anything other than natural stuff, holistic medicine. Thank you for the likes, by the way. You guys are rocking the likes today. Awesome. And for all the new people that are new to my channel, thank you so much for being here. Don't forget to subscribe. And I've been informed that the AI or whatever entity controls this platform is unsubscribing people. All right. That was brought to my attention. So make sure you guys are subscribed. Even if you feel like you've subscribed before, make sure that you always check that you are subscribed, because apparently this AI is unsubscribing people. They don't want you guys to hear my lives, apparently. I do have another super chat from Sunshine. What are you taking for pain? I've already read that. Okay. Cosmic Goddess is in the house. Thank you for being here, Cosmic Goddess. And your question is, thank you for all the information you share. Peace, love, and unity to you and everyone on this live. Likewise, sister. Thank you for being here, by the way. I also want to thank Cynthia Jaworski for her super chat. Thank you, sister, for being here. All right, so I'm just going to answer random questions from the bottom, and I'm going to work my way up. Well, this is a good question from Krista Nipfer, Knipfer, Nipfer. Krista Nipfer is asking, what will happen with targeted individuals? When might there be some relief? All right, so the best way to protect yourselves from the frequencies, right, from the fifth generational weaponry is to keep your elevated frequency up, protect yourself, ground yourself in nature. Um, Bring your energy up by just dance, meditation, anything that elevates your vibration, guys. That is your ultimate weapon against these frequencies, against targeted weapon systems. None of that could affect you as long as you are in a high vibration. Okay, so keep your vibration high. Eat healthy. All right, eat healthy. Also, very important. Yes, the reason I'm working my way from the bottom up is because I want to get to the questions that have been recently commented or recently put on here, and then I'm just going to work my way up. Oh yes, please. Thank you, Edward, for letting us know that. Make sure you put your questions in capital letters so that I could bypass the chat. Very important, guys. It'll save me time, and I'll be able to get to more questions. All right, so Diana77 is asking, Diane77, she says, what will happen, or she's asking, what will happen with the attachments that are on some people when we have the sword flash? Those attachments are going to be completely transmuted. They're going to be gone, destroyed. You're going to be liberated etherically, astrally, physically, as your light body becomes activated. Very good question, sister. Yes, yes, the Ahriman, right? Who, according to prophecy, according to Rudolf Steiner theosophy, the Ahriman is yet to incarnate as the AI God, as the Antichrist. No, he's actually not just threatened by me; he's threatened by everyone. But yes, because of the fact that I was able to piece the whole cosmic narrative together, he probably sees me as one of his number one threats. He's like, damn it, that guy weaved everything together. Let's see. Oh, for those that don't know, the Ahriman, the king of the Asuras, the king of the Archons, is no other than Saurian Omega Metatron, the AI god. Okay, they are one and the same. So Dali Wildcat is asking me, how did the Anunnaki downgrade us? Like exactly how? Very simple. Very simple. By tampering with our genetics and creating a hybrid between us, the angelic humans, and the Neanderthal Homo erectus monkeys, the primitive mammals. That's how they were able to downgrade us. And by disconnecting 10 strands of our DNA, of course. All right, so I'm going to try to answer this. I really don't know much about the genealogical records that are hidden in the mountains of Utah, but I'm going to try to do my best. So this is a question asked by Bay Lay Elizabeth. Hi, Ishmael. Thank you for what you do. Can you please go more into genealogy and the mountains in Utah that hold all the information of each of us? All right, so those records that are now hidden in the mountains of Utah were preserved through the last 1700 years by who? The Knights Templars. And where did they get those records from? from the old Solomon temple, the old ruin of Solomon's temple. See, Solomon had all the genealogy that could be traceable back to Samaria, to Atlantis for thousands of years, you know. So all of those records are now in Utah, and they were given to Joseph Smith, the founder of the Mormon Church. So that's why the Mormon Church is really big on genealogy and bloodline. You know, they want to see I think they want to see who the descendants of the gods are, because they watch over them. You know, they do watch over them, just like the Knights Templars were the guardians of the priority of Zion, the Holy Order of the Grail during medieval times. It is the same thing, you know, and no one has access to those records, by the way. It's believed until the great solar flash and the return of the Christ consciousness. That's when we will access those records. But right now, they're being contained and hidden in order to protect the descendants of Jesus and Mary Magdalene. All right, so Angie, your question is, how does Ishmael know the texts he's talking about haven't been tampered with too? Because I pulled information or text from the Greek accounts. The Greek accounts or the Greek translations were not tampered by the Babylonian priest kings. What do they call them? The Babylonian chief kings. You know, the followers of Baal Belial. So that's why I know that these records weren't tampered, because the story sounds a little different. It's the story sounds the other way around, right? And this, according to the Greek translations, Zeus was the upholder of justice, all right? He was the divine ruler of righteousness on earth and upheld righteousness, right? We had golden ages when Zeus was in power. When Zeus was overthrown by Enki's son Marduk, that's when we fell into the dark ages, okay? And of course, we do know that Zeus and Enlil are one and the same. Okay, so Digital Revolution is asking me if XRP is better than gold. Um, I think they're connected. I think that the new financial system is going to be backed by precious metals. So I think that they're one and the same. You know, I don't think. See, XRP is not digital currency, guys. You know, cryptocurrency, blockchain technology. That's all part of the AI system, of the AI infrastructure that they're building at this time. All right, all that stuff is going to crash in the positive ascending Earth timeline. Wow, Joanna McKinstry, thank you for being up at 3 a.m. in the UK. Wow. Well, thank you for being here, sister. I appreciate that. You know, for those in Europe that are it's in the mid that are up tuning into my live in the middle of the night, you guys are awesome. You guys are awesome. I hope you guys get some sleep or at least take some naps tomorrow. Thank you for being here. Marie Romo is asking, did Jesus and Mary Magdalene have children? Yes, indeed. The Holy Grail, the Holy Bloodline, the biggest secret, the biggest threat to the organized Christian Orthodox religion is a fact. All right. Study the works of William, what's his name? The guy who wrote the Holy Grail, Holy Mysteries, not Dan Brown's book, the Da Vinci Code, but there was another book before that book. I think it was put by Michael Bignett and Henry Lincoln. There we go, Michael Bignett and Henry Lincoln. They wrote a book exposing the truth about the bloodline of Jesus and Mary Magdalene, and that is so accurate, so true. Yeah, which is the same bloodline of Zeus, by the way. It is the direct descendants of Zeus, right? The royal galactic blood of the Lyrian Syrian bloodline. I want to welcome Jeff Hale in the house. Thank you for your super chat, brother. You have a question? Curious about your perspective on Egyptian gods like Thoth and Isis as it relates to the bloodlines and history you discussed. Is there anything you can expand on here? Well, we do know that Thoth was the son of Enki, right? Thoth was the impostor that took over the work of Enoch, Hermes, Trismegistus, and credited himself as the mediator between gods and men. It was never Thoth. Thoth and Enoch are two different entities, all right? So he hijacked Enoch's work. Secondly, the Egyptian gods, known as the Naturu, were also benevolent. They represented the Orion Council of Mintaka, Annalin, and Anilak, which are the three stars in which the Great Pyramids are aligned to. So we could say that Osiris and Isis came from the star systems of Anilak and Annalin. They come from those solar systems, and they came to help usher in a golden age in Egypt during the times of after the fall of Atlantis, you could say. And in some cases, it is believed that Osiris did exist during the times of Atlantis, and he actually worked in tandem with Zeus. You know, when Marduk Belial, the son of Enki Poseidon, took over Atlantis, it was the followers of Osiris who was working with Zeus that went into the underground to later come out as the Druids, as the ancient Celtics. All right. And this is where we get the concept of, wizardry. But this is white magic, not dark magic, right? Merlin, and so on and so forth. So we could say that the Osiris groups were actually instrumental in the rebuilding of the Golden Age. So yeah, so the Egyptian gods, other than Set, Marduk, right, were actually good. Anubis was good. Ra, which represents the sun, the consciousness of our sun, Ra, the sun god, they're all good. They're all benevolent, okay, except Zet. Zet, who was also Marduk. And then we do have another super chat from Cosmic Goddess. Greetings, Ishmael. Thank you for all the information you share. Oh, I think I've already read that. Okay. And then, so there is a bloodline. And I talked about this in my book, that there was you could say, a mixture between the bloodline of Horus and the bloodline of the descendants of Zeus to create an even more powerful bloodline that manifested in the form of King David and Solomon. So that bloodline is the Holy Grail. So the Holy Grail are not just the descendants of Zeus. The Holy Grail are also mixed with the descendants of Isis, Osiris, and Horus. So that's when Abraham took Sarah to have intercourse with the Pharaoh, and then Abraham had intercourse with Hagar. Hagar was an Egyptian queen, by the way, royalty. She was not no slave. See? And then that's what gave us Ismael through Hagar, royal blood, and Isaac through Sarah. So Isaac is not the son of Abraham. Isaac was the son of the Pharaoh, the descendant of Isis and Horus. And through Abraham's wife, Sarah, who was the carrier of the bloodline of Zeus, created an even more powerful bloodline that gave us King David. So King David is technically a descendant of both Horus through Pharaoh, the good Pharaoh, and Sarah, who was mitochondrial Eve, right? Sarah, the bloodline comes from the mother when it comes to the royal blood, to create a more powerful bloodline. Right? But at the same time, we also have Ishmael, the descendants of Abraham and Hagar. Thank you, Sunshine, for your super chat for the number 10. You said you'd be live Monday, Wednesday, Friday. It's Saturday today. All right. So, because of my Rumble channel, that's why I want to go live on YouTube at least 3 times a week. So, before my Rumble channel, I wanted to go live Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays just to keep a consistency. But because I do have a Rumble channel, I would love to at least go live once a week on my Rumble channel and then go live 3 times a week on my YouTube channel. So on my YouTube channel, I will be going live Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays so that on Friday nights I could go live on my Rumble channel. All right, just to answer your question. She's saying, and how do we know we're not sending super chats to an AI or fake you? Oh my God. Well, I am the real Ishmael Perez in the flesh, guys. In the flesh. Look, you see, I'm made out of skin, right? There is no AI here. This is not a robot here. This is my house. If you follow me on Instagram, I always have my angel wings behind me right there, right? And all of my, my little Buddha here, and my elephants from India, and all of the stuff that I like to decorate my house with, which is, they remind me of, they all hold spiritual significance, in other words. So no, I am the real Ishmael Perez, okay? I wouldn't be no fake Ishmael Perez doing a live here. All right, and then let's see. Sunshine, I love your humor, but I am the real Ishmael Perez, okay? This is my only real account. Jeff Hale, thank you so much for your donation. Curious about your perspective on it. Oh, I've already answered that. Oops. I got to keep track of these super chats. I'm backtracking. Cynthia. All right, I've already read that. Thank you for your super chat, Cynthia. BM, thank you for your super chat. Why does my super chats disappear? I don't know, guys. I don't know. It's not me. Look, I'm over here. I'm not doing anything. I'm just reading from my phone because I don't have my glasses to read it on my laptop. So I'm just reading them from the chat here. I was hoping you could answer, how do I get the Jabadoo, speaking code, how do I get the Jabadoo from our system so we can ascend? You don't have to, but if you want to really get rid of the GRAPHINEOXIDE, right? Take turmeric, chlorella. Do an ionizing foot bath to get rid of those metals. All right, there are ways of detoxing your body from metals. Oh, and there's this supplement I want to share with you guys. Let me go get it. This supplement, if you take it 3 times a day in 30 days, you're going to be metal free. One second, let me go get it for you. This right here, it's called iodine. Iodine with kelp. So if you guys take iodine with kelp, yeah, I'm going to take some right now. This is great for metal detoxing. It's called iodine with kelp. And there's another one I want to share. And ormus. Ormus, also known as white powder or white gold, or ormus is also monoatomic gold. Ormus also helps the body detox from toxic metals. Actually, I'm going to take some in front of you guys right now. This is ormus. Ooh. Real 24K gold. This is monoatomic gold, guys. This stuff, ormus, is really good to take. I'm gonna wash my hands real quick. Want to welcome all 740 people who are in the house. Thank you guys so much for being here. So there are ways of detoxing, to answer your question. And by the way, you don't have to worry about not ascending, all right? Even if you took the Jabadoo, when the solar flash takes place, it's going to neutralize all of that stuff from your body. And then the second part of your question is, oh, I guess I answered it. So you will be ascending, brother. You will be ascending, brother. And the fact that you're here tells me that you are part of the 144,000. All right. Again, that is not a figurative number pertaining to only 144,000 people. That is just a metaphor describing gene expression and hertz. The 144,000 encompasses all the millions of star seeds that are on the planet at this time. You guys are all part of the Guardian Councils. You guys all took the oath with the Emerald Council, the seal of Palador. You just don't remember. Upon incarnating, you guys took an oath that you guys would be the guardians of the new earth upon the ascension, right? All right, so I do have another question from, I just lost it. I had it, but I lost it. The chat is going so fast. I'm just reading some of your comments in your chat here. Oh boy. Oh, this is a good one. This is a question from Bailey Elizabeth. She's asking, thank you for, well, thank you. She's thanking me first for answering her question. And then she says, can you please explain the Maharishi effect a little more? All right, so this was based on a master, a yogi, you know. I believe he was a Buddhist Tibetan who and they put this to the test and everything. You know, they gathered a few thousand people and they put them in an area where, in a city that was like very violent. You know, it had a high crime. I can't even say it, a high level of violence. And what they did is these few thousand people meditated. I think it was only like 7,000 people. They meditated for like an hour, and then all of a sudden we hear that a lot of the crime rate began to decrease. You know, a lot of the stuff that was going on in the city wasn't happening anymore. So they believe that there is a ratio, some sort of number, where if enough humans, you know, do some sort of collective meditation together, that it could actually affect the entire planet. And in order to affect 7-8 billion, I think it has to be 0.1%, which is only like, you know, I don't know, like 10,000, not even that. I'm sorry, like 70,000, 100,000. So it only takes a few hundred, I would say 100,000 people at the most. See, I'm not good with math, but in order to affect the Maharishi effect is you have to get a percentage of people to be thinking on a certain wavelength in order to affect everybody else. And a lot of that has to do with the idea that humans are connected via a organic mind hive, right? We have a planetary mind hive where all humans, both star seeds and earth terrans, are all connected as one mind hive. So when a certain critical percentage or a certain percentage hits critical mass, which is what's going to happen pretty soon, right? The Great Awakening, it's going to cause everyone else to get it. It's going to cause everyone else to awaken automatically. So they call it the Maharishi effect. And they did an experiment with monkeys. They called it the 100 monkey syndrome. where again, they took a group of monkeys, a species of monkeys that are all connected, and they put them on these different isolated islands, and they only taught two monkeys or two groups of monkeys on two islands. They taught them how to wash their coconuts, and because they learned how to do it, the other monkeys on these other isolated islands, without connecting with the other monkeys, they all of a sudden began to wash their coconuts, which was another experiment that proves that all of humans or all of humanity is connected via a organic mind hive. There is a planetary mind hive that connects us all as one. All right. So that is the Maharishi effect. And so that's why it is believed that, when we hit critical mass, it's going to be because we are going to hit that percentage that is going to cause everyone else to just become automatically awakened, from their programming. They're going to all of a sudden snap out of the matrix. So that's the best way to explain the Maharishi effect. You could look it up. It's not a hidden thing. One second. Oh, there we go. Okay, so we do have another super chat from JKL. Thank you so much for being here. What does it mean if you see a 4D cube in a massive black void with a glowing figure laying down, covered by a see-through cloth? Are you referring to a tesseract, a fourth dimensional cube? That's a tesseract. I am not sure. I am not sure what that means. I am sorry. I've never experienced that. I've never heard of that. I know what a tesseract is, but I don't know what it means to see a 4D cube, which is a tesseract, in a massive black void with a golden glowing figure laying down, covered by a see-through cloth. It sounds to me like you're seeing an interdimensional entity. The best thing to do is probably interact with it. See if it's positive. See if it's right. If it's benevolent, if it's good. Try to ask it questions, or see if you could connect with it via telepathy. I want to welcome all 781 people who are in the house. Thank you so much for being here. Oh, this is important. Adrian Aurora is saying that there are other records in the astral version of the Sphinx in the Great Library. That is so true, guys. See, most people think that these records or these Akashic, things are underneath the Sphinx, but a lot of them are also. See, the thing is that we live in a multi-dimensional reality. So some of these records are actually stored in the etheric realms. They're not in the physical form. And the only way we're going to access them is by what? By connecting with our own etheric body, right? By connecting with our etheric body, we're going to activate the pineal gland, and that's what's going to allow us to have access to the Akashic records. So it's not like we physically have to go to Egypt and excavate what's underneath the paw, right, of the Sphinx. No, guys, all we have to do is open up our third eye, and the records are going to be revealed to us. Very true. Very true. So Fenya High Vibes is saying, is it true that our highest self is doing work for us on things we can't such what? I'm sorry, let me see if I can read that. Is it true that our highest self is doing work for us on things we can't, such as inner child healing. Um, I don't know if I understand your question, but your higher self wants you to do the inner child healing, yes. But that is also something that you have to do through your own free will. But yes, your higher self is always, trying to get you to do the work, get you to, clear any density, to forgive, to, let go of any blockages as much as possible. Joseph Martin is saying solar flash, middle of the year, maybe. I sure hope so, guys. I sure hope so. No, 666 is not my favorite number. You guys want to know what my favorite number is? 13. That's my favorite number. I just gave you guys my favorite number, 13. So Fenya High Vibes is asking, how do we integrate other aspects of ourselves and how do we activate our dormant DNA? Well, we are already doing it, by the way. The DNA, the dormant DNA is automatically turning back on due to the gamma ray frequencies that are coming via our sun. But in order to connect and integrate with your higher selves, if you want to do it faster, there is a meditation that I teach called the Archangel Michael meditation, which was actually taught to me by Archangel Michael. And that meditation involves breathing, connecting with using your outer chakras, not just your 7 chakras, to connect with different aspects of yourselves beyond the physical. And it's a very detailed method, but I'm going to be teaching that pretty soon. When I open up my website, I'm going to be offering some classes on all kinds of stuff, guys. And by the way, I am no longer with the Mystic Arts. I'm going to be doing my own thing now. I'm just, I'm getting ready to put my website out. I don't have a current website. So for those that are trying to find me or find my website, I don't have a current website. All right. It's under construction as I speak. Yes, yes, the Syrian, the tall whites. The tall whites, and this is actually proven with the work of Linda Moulton Howe, that we were made by the tall whites, not the Anunnaki. So the tall whites, which come from Sirius, are our original progenitors. They are the ones that seeded us here on this planet. Sorry, guys, I'm just trying to stretch my arm. I'm getting a numbing, a tingling, a numbing sensation on my left arm. So I'm just trying to stretch it out. Wow, you guys are hitting the like. I appreciate that. Thank you so much for smashing the like button. Yes, thank you for pointing that out. Wolfie says that when enough people come together and meditate in a violent city, that it actually reduces the crime by 23%. And there's been many experiments. So, in regards to the Maharishi effect, absolutely. Thank you for sharing that. So telepathy, Joseph Martin is asking, how do you do telepathy, Ishmael? Um, it is more of a feeling. There is no words involved. You have to. It's connected to your intuition. All right. So it's communicating through feelings, guys. Emotional intelligence. There you go. One example of that is twins. Right. When twins are born, before the twins learn how to communicate via verbatim, they communicate emotionally. That's true telepathy, by the way. So I don't know if there's any twins out there that have a twin sibling, but when you guys were young, before you guys learned how to communicate with words, didn't you guys communicate via emotions? That's telepathy right there. It's an emotional thing. It's communicating through emotions. Okay, let me continue. Neo is asking, when does the age of Aquarius starts? Well, I always believed that it was going to start somewhat in 2024, or at least 2024 was going to be the beginning stages of the age of Aquarius. But as far as like where we're actually going to see the golden age, where we're going to be, fully activated light body beings, um, like I said before, guys, the current reality construct that was imposed by AI during the days of Atlantis, that was working with Enki, who was fascinated, by the way, Enki was obsessed with AI back in those days as well. That ends by the 2028, 2030, no later than. But, who knows? We'll see. We'll see. So I'm just looking for more questions here, by the way. Oh, for those that are tuning in, I'm not just on my phone, right? I'm actually on the chat. I'm on the chat reading it because I don't have my glasses, so it's hard for me to see it on my laptop. So I'm reading the chat from my iPhone, all right? You're probably thinking, how rude is Ishmael taking a text or doing his, being on his phone when he's on a live? I would never just be on my phone. I'm actually looking for questions here. All right, guys, we have 10 minutes. I can't believe the 3 hours are almost up. We have 10 minutes to go. So if you guys have some questions, please drop them. This is your chance to ask me anything you guys want. All right, so I'm just going to read this from Carrie. Carrie DeCourcy. She's saying it is important to stretch the spine and yawn stretch regularly so you feel that rush in your ears and that good feeling. Practice many times each day. The stretching of the spine frees the spinal fluid. Thank you so much, Carrie, for sharing that. That is so, so true, guys. Often I forget to stretch, but it is important to stretch, especially our spine, every single day. So Connie Tate is asking, what is ahead in the higher realms? She wants to know what is ahead in the higher ascended realms. Um, the higher we go in realms, the higher we go in dimensions, the more heaven-like worlds we exist in, the more paradisical realities we encounter. All right, just because we're in the 3D, this is the lowest within the light energy spectrum. We are existing in the lowest density, guys. All right, life wasn't supposed to be this hard. So the higher we go in ascension, the more freer, the more happier sense of beauty that we experience. The higher we go in ascension, the freer we become, the more powerful we become. I want to welcome all 771 people who are in the house. Thank you so much for being here. Again, if you guys have any questions, we have about 8 minutes left. Please drop them in the comments so I could address them. We have one more super chat from Sunshine. I am a twin. His name is Valentine, and my name is Valentine. 100% correct. So, as a twin, you guys first learn how to communicate emotionally, right? Before you guys learn how to speak. See? That's truth telepathy right there, by the way. Irana Freiner, thank you so much, sister, for being here. Shout out to Irana. Irina came to see me at the Stairway to Disclosure Fest, and I just wanted to thank her for that. And your question, sister, is a lot of love and gratitude to you, Ishmael, for everything you do to bring us Starseed family together in teaching. You're welcome, sister. Can't wait for your new course. Also, please, could we finish the 3-hour marathon live with meditation? Sure, why not? Thank you so much. All right, so I guess in the next couple of minutes, we will start the meditation. What is the picture behind me? There are many pictures. Which one are you referring to? Ask Katina. Oh, Katins. Katins is asking, what is the picture behind you? Second picture right from TV. White background, gray object. Okay, let me see. White background. Gray object. This? That's a Buddha. That's a Buddha. This is something that I got in Brooklyn, New York. This is the Eiffel Tower. That is just a painting of a woman. These are chandeliers that I got, like, just to bring color to the living room. I love colorful things. It brings more energy. Some of these plants are real, by the way. They're not fake. I just water them a lot so they look nice. These are elephants from India. This is my Buddha. It's my Buddha meditating. Let's see. This is another Buddha. This is my crystals. What else? Yeah, I guess that's it for now.